Salutations everyone, my name is Silta and welcome to the video. As many of you may know, Half-Life is coming back. After 12 years of radio silence, it's returning with a full-fledged prequel using VR tech, so we'll be able to experience the Half-Life universe in all of its scientific glory. The name of the game is Half-Life Alyx. Now, it's no secret that I am a Half-Life fan. I was raised on both Half-Life and Half-Life 2 as a child, and I am now 20 years old. And in this video, I will analyze key moments that caught my attention in the trailer with some information that I already have. From what we know so far, Half-Life Alyx is a prequel set between the events of Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. You play as Alyx Vance, the daughter of Eli Vance, who is the leader of an uprising resistance to disrupt the alien race known as the Combine sometime after the 7-Hour War. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. Right away, we open up to Alyx Vance panting in what seems to be a dilapidated building, possibly a laundromat, with electricity sparking from behind some containers, with the sudden skitter of a creature just out of view. If you pause the video, you can see that there's some sort of alien life form running around, with electricity coming from it. Earlier this year, there were leaks to the game, and some of which were about new enemy types. Valve News Networks covered them in a video in which he briefly went over the description of a new enemy type called the Zombie Reviver, and here's what he has to say about it.
You also have some new enemy types, such as the Reviver, who, like an Archvile from Doom, can run around the map and revive downed enemies with electricity.
Now this is very interesting, because as we see, this alien creature is running away from a place where electricity was just released. And later in the trailer, we actually managed to see what seems to be zombie without a head crab with electricity emanating from it. I will link the video down below. You guys really should check out Valve News Network. Tyler is an amazing content creator who's dedicated so much of his time uncovering leaks about Half-Life VR for the past 3 years. The guy's crazy. I mean, he spent 3 years researching and going out of his way to find Half-Life VR code. And that is amazing to me, that dedication right there. As the scene transitions to that of a city overview, we can clearly see the Citadel being constructed by the Combine. It looks as if this prequel takes place not long after the Combine established their control over Earth after the 7-Hour War. We see helicopters, prototype striders, and many cables and wires all attached to what seems to be the Citadel under construction, so this solidifies the fact that this is not long after the 7-Hour War.
There's no straight shot to the...
Something that caught my interest was that it seemed NPCs were able to stand on a moving platform, that being the prototype strider that we see here, and how it carried a platform on its back that Combine soldiers are standing on.
Vault.
Next, we can see green light emanating from these cables. This probably has something to do with Vortigaunts due to their electrical abilities, and the Combine seem very keen on finding and using them. If you take a look at one of the concept arts, you can see a poster that has the Vortigaunt propaganda that states, "Report the Vorts."
I'm gonna head inside. Bye.
In this short clip, we managed to see Alyx's tool that she used throughout Half-Life 2 and its episodes. It's some sort of hacking device that she uses to bypass Combine technology. It seems to come with a scanner and the ability to reroute power to whichever direction you want, with the possibility that it can hack Combine locks and technology.
Way out. Got it.
I'm with you every step of the way.
Now, many people are making guesses at who this man is. Some believe he's Odessa Cubbage, while others believe he's a new character entirely. Personally, I think he may be a new character altogether. He also seems to be wearing some sort of hazmat suit under his coat, much like the ones seen in the cut Half-Life beta content where citizens were forced to wear these suits while working in dangerous facilities.
You're gonna need a gun. Don't worry, it's unloaded. It's unloaded now.
These are known as the gravity gloves, or at least that's what the leaks have said in the coding. There's been many leaks about these gloves that you obtain in Half-Life Alyx. This clip alone gives you a lot of information. It looks as if these gloves are some sort of gravity gun prototype, because as we see in this clip, Alyx is able to pull objects towards her using them, much like telekinesis. Something to also note is that there are 3 heart icons on the left glove right above the health meter, which is that tiny blue screen. As you can see in this screenshot that I'll come back to later, there's actually a health system to that of a normal Half-Life game. Now this is another clip I wanted to really analyze with. Here we see Alyx sticking her hand in a device that has an antlion grub stuck inside a tube. You can see her health is low as she fends off zombies. We can catch a quick glimpse that the hearts on her glove screen are actually getting larger the more she charges up, meaning that this is a health charging station. Another interesting tidbit of information is that in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, antlion grubs give you health when you squish them and pick up the gel substance they drop, leading me to believe that the health vials in Half-Life 2 are actually processed gels from these antlion grubs that the Combine harvest for medical purposes. It's clearly shown here that while Alyx is healing, the device uses an antlion grub to excrete or drain to heal the user. Later in this trailer, Alyx is able to use the gravity gloves to pull a grenade off of a Combine soldier, but at the moment you can see that there's some sort of Stimpack holster on her left hand that we didn't see originally in the previous clips. This makes me think that as we progress through the game, we actually obtain upgrades to our gravity gloves, meaning it will play a bigger role in the game than we may think.
Combine channel's really picking up. They know you're coming. You need to get out of here, now. Oh god.
They've got Dad.
They're gonna find out what he...
Now, this next clip has me really speculating if you can emote to other NPCs. In an article by Upload, link in the description, they state that Valve mentions exclusive interactions that you can only have with the Valve Index controller. For example, they say that you can crush a can in your hands using the Index's finger tracking controls. This leads me to believe that you can give hand gestures to some enemies. For example, in this shot, you can see Combine soldiers holding Alyx at gunpoint. She has her hands up in a surrendered motion. This is a far-fetched theory and wild speculation, but I think it's possible Valve has programmed interactions with NPCs in mind. They aren't firing at her, but are rather holding her at gunpoint to give finger motions to NPCs or better interact with them. Imagine being cornered by Combine soldiers and putting your hands up for them to stop shooting and try to arrest you or apprehend you. This could buy you time to try and think of a way to get yourself out of that situation or even pull out a gun last minute. I'd also like to go over the design choices for the Combine soldiers, also known as the Overwatch transhuman arm. The designs look like prototypes, likely because of the recent control of Earth. Their technology is still being developed and so are the soldiers they create. They have the standard gas mask still with blue glowing lenses and a typical uniform.
They're gonna find out what he knows, and then they're gonna kill him.
All this is my fault.
In this short 2-second clip, you can see that the player is actively hiding and avoiding contact with the Combine soldiers. In a previous Half-Life VR leak, it was shown that there are plans to implement a stealth system into the game, ranging from NPCs being able to hear you, smell you, and see you.
The combat section in levels will also be shaken up with the addition of virtual reality cover and VR stealth. For cover, it's self-explanatory. However, for stealth, every object has a visibility and smell state, and based on the locations of different objects, the player can move freely.
It even says on the Steam page that you're able to distract enemies by tossing bottles and other objects towards them or away from them. So we can expect a stealth mechanic in the game as we avoid enemies or distract them or even set up ambushes.
I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
Here we can clearly see Zen alien life. In a previous leak, there were mentions of Zen variants of weaponry, so we should expect more and possibly a trip to Zen. Also in the same leak, there were codes for weapon modules that could change the aesthetic and bullet output for your guns. You can potentially see a new energy variant ammo type when the player holds a gun up to several headcrab zombies. Speaking of which, can we please show some love for the headcrab's new designs? These new looks look extremely realistic, and they even remind me of the early 2000 fan-made Half-Life 2 trailers with a budget. The skin of the zombies are rotting and necrotic, their rib cage is torn open. You can even catch a glimpse of a poison headcrab with what looks like red spikes on its back. This is likely before the Combine collected headcrabs and began mutating them to better suit their weaponry. As we see in Half-Life 2, the Combine use headcrabs as a form of bioweapon against the Resistance. They likely genetically engineered them to better suit their needs, explaining the difference in looks. And as we transition to antlions with an amazing overhaul in design, we can see Alyx fire off a shotgun round as one flies above her. She manages to shoot off a limb, which makes me question if Half-Life Alyx will have gore to it. Half-Life 1 did not shy away from body horror or gore. Half-Life 2 didn't have as much gore, but that was likely due to the limitations of the source engine. If that's the case, we could expect to have dismemberment on some, if not all, enemies. It really depends if Valve wants to shy away from having lots of gore in their new VR flagship game. And finally, as we close up, we can see a giant spaceship floating above the city with multiple wires and cables running into it. It's possible that this is the vault Alyx mentions getting into during the trailer, or where Eli was taken. My theory is that this is the original spaceship that the Combine used when invading Earth, which may have advisors within it. It may be a base of operations for them until the Citadel is complete. After this clip, we get one last glimpse of G-Man walking out of the shadows with glowing eerie eyes as he gives off a smirk. You can see that he's also had a glow up in graphics from the past 21 years due to the new Source Engine 2's capabilities. The trailer ends with us watching and awe at everything coming next year in March. That's 4 months away as of this recording, and I can hardly contain my excitement. This game has been in development for about 4 years now, with the budget of an $8 billion gaming company, with plenty of resources to spare. I cannot express enough just how much Valve has put into this VR game. A Half-Life game, something everyone has been asking for 12 years now. So it's not far-fetched to think that this game is going to have a lot of details go into it. From true environmental destruction of walls, buildings, and props, to enemy reactions, physics, realistic graphics, etc. Valve have poured their heart and soul into this game, and I am so excited to see the end product and where they go with this software. Did I mention that they're also releasing the tools they used to make this game? Meaning anyone with the knowledge can make whatever VR game or Source 2 game that they want. Half-Life Alyx has a confirmed level editor so players can create their own maps and levels, all for others to experience and share, meaning replayability for this game is going to be huge. This game and the software it runs on will change gaming yet again. When Half-Life 2 was released with the Source Engine, it was one of the greatest, most powerful tools seen in the gaming industry, and it has changed the way games were made with better graphics and physics for years. We are about to see a whole new world of opportunities unfold with the Source Engine 2 and what ideas people can make up with it. It is essentially the birth of a gaming renaissance again. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more content. I cannot express this enough. If people enjoy this video, I'll continue making more and sharing them here on my YouTube channel. I have a Discord link down below if you'd like to join and discuss more about Half-Life or any other games. I'm always on my Discord server. I also have a Twitter that's linked down below so you can follow me for more updates. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, and with that, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.